there? At the stars. That's how I said it. Now, it sounds a little strange out of context, right? At the stars. At the stars. But there's something going on there that's very important. At the, which is not a super important phrase, I say really fast. And then stars, I say slow. At the stars. I mean, it's subtle, right? You wouldn't be like, at the stars, right? It would be too much, of course. But it's subtle, and that there's a variation there, and the ear hears that and starts listening. Or, like is held by you. So adding some speed or taking away from some speed from your lines can start to make it more like speech. Because that's how speech goes. We don't say, we don't do we don't do it all. I've already said that. But, so that's speed and slowness should be used and can be used to great effect because that will keep the ear interested and listening. The other thing that you can do, and you're probably doing it to a little bit, because English, we're working with the English language for the most part with these poems, and English is it uses a lot of stresses. It's a very accented language. We push certain words to give them emphasis. Stars is a very important word. That's what the poem is about. And so that's, that there's emphasis, and it's emphasized by at the, which is not, there's no emphasis. So stars, they really jump out. It's poetic. Going through your poem and picking out the important words and then pushing them, adding a little stress, not at the stars, right? But at the stars. And so you push it just a little bit, and people hear that. And in the same way that they're not saying, oh, that the author accented stars because that is the theme and the main image of the poem. But, they feel that, and that connects with them. So going through your poem and finding the important words and pushing them with a little stress, do this. Don't just say, oh, well, I know there will be stress there. Give it a little bit. In your performance of it, you'll connect. The other thing that, of course, you can do, the third technique that gives your poem a lot of speech-like qualities is volume, adjusting the volume. And you couldn't really hear it as well because I hadn't had a drink of water, which is why it's so important. But, when I say the title of that, when I heard The Learned Astronomer by Walt Whitman, and then I say it again, when I heard The Learned Astronomer, I said it a little bit differently. Now there's another time where I say it, and I add another layer. I come through and I come to the middle. When I, sitting, heard the learned astronomer, right? And I've added some volume. And so now there's a progression happening in your piece. And at that point, if I'm doing the poem well, and I didn't practice maybe this afternoon as much as I should, if you're doing the poem well, you're going to pull your audience along and you're going to give them some build. You watch a movie, right? There's build. Takes you to like a climactic scene. You're like, oh my God! Right? And that's, of course you're not, maybe you'll get your audience to that point. But, like inside you're going to be working and they're going to feel that. And you're going to stand out because you've added all of this inflection. So, the